Hey everybody! So today I'm going to be talking to you guys about how to prepare for an audition. So let me backtrack a little bit. What kind of audition? What am I talking about? There can be so many different kinds of auditions or tryouts or whatever you want to call them. There can be one for, a sports team of some kind. There can be one for, music, theater. There's endless possibilities of what you could be trying out for, And I've recently been preparing for an audition for music camp that I go to. And so I thought I would make a quick little video about how to prepare for an audition because I have experience with that. And yeah, let's go. So the first thing that I always do when I'm getting ready to prepare for an audition is I create a practice log, and let me show you what I mean. So right here I have 2 practice logs that I've used in the past for different auditions. So this one right here was from this last year, around the time I had solo and ensemble contest for band. And I had about a month to prepare my solo because that's when I got my solo from my director. And so I wanted to make sure I used my time wisely in preparing for my 2 solos that I took. So what I did was this is in my bullet journal, by the way, and I just made a video about my bullet journal. Last video I uploaded if you want to go take a look. But basically I just wrote practice log up at the top, put some little decorations in, and then I labeled all of the days, like the dates of the month that I had left until the contest date, which was January 21st. And then every day I wrote down about how long I practiced, and it did hold me accountable because I was like, oh crap, I need to write down something that I did. And some days it's really hard, like on some of these days I wrote 0, and some days I wrote question marks because I didn't remember. But yeah, that is one practice log that I've used. And then this is one from for what I'm preparing for right now. Actually, I'm already done with that one. Parade was yesterday. Well, yesterday when I filmed this. But this is another version of a practice log. Basically what I did was I labeled it practice log because I also have another one that looks very similar, but it's for the SAT preparation anyway. And then right in the middle I have my log where I write down days, and then I write down what I did that day. And then on the side here I have calendars, and I've highlighted the days that this applies to. And then I have a little thing over here for goals. This is the music camp that I go to, Worcester Music Camp in Worcester, Ohio. So that's what I'm working towards right now, and then this is what I was working towards before, the 4th of July parade for a marching band. So I highlighted the 4th of July, and I crossed it off because I'm done with that. Now I just need to prepare for this one. And this kind of thing, you can do it with anything, not just music. You can do it with sports. You can write down how many minutes you practice every day for your sport. You can write down how, I don't know, I've never done this for sports, but I'm imagining that it would be helpful because it's helped me with this. And for theater kind of things, you can write down how many minutes or how long you practiced your monologue for, however long you practiced whatever you're working on. So yeah, practice logs and preparation logs have really helped me be accountable for what I'm preparing for whatever audition I'm preparing for. I've auditioned for a lot of different things in the past. But yeah, so that leads me on to my next thing, prepare ahead of time. If you noticed on my practice logs, the one I'm using right now, the more like blue one on the graph paper, I've been preparing for both of these things since early June, and it's really helped me be ready and feel ready for what I'm about to do. And that is one of the best feelings that you can have, because would you rather feel rushed to prepare? Would you rather feel not prepared? Or would you rather feel, easygoing and like, oh yeah, I got this, I've been preparing for like a month and a half. I want to be prepared. And preparing ahead of time, like at least a month ahead of time, is probably the best way to go. Now, granted, I know life can get crazy. I know. I'm well aware. I have one of the busiest lives of anyone that I know. But if you can't prepare ahead of time, here's my advice to you. Take any little extra bit of time that you have, to the point where you're not like driving yourself crazy. If you need time to relax, do that. Your health is most important. But if you are preparing for a very important audition, such as like a college audition for theater or for music, or if you're preparing for, you know, a tryout for a team or whatever you're doing, and you don't have time to practice or start rehearsing ahead of time, take any little free moment that you have and just practice, even just a little bit, even if it's just looking at your music, looking at your parts, looking at, you know, what you need to accomplish for your tryout. Just take 5 minutes of free time, or take, you know, a break from doing schoolwork or whatever you're doing, and look at that stuff, because even just taking a little bit of time to look at it ahead of time, you know, even if it's not like, oh, I've been practicing for 45 minutes on my solo, or, you know, whatever it may be, any little 5 minutes will help you. I swear to you, it will help you so much. And that's one thing that I've learned, is that, you know, I've been preparing for auditions for a lot of different things over the years, and I have a very busy lifestyle. I'm always going, and, you know, during the school year especially, I have to keep going until like early into the morning, and then I only get like 5 hours of sleep. When you're living a life kind of like that, or when you just are in a busy point in your life, taking those 5 minutes will really help you feel prepared, even if you haven't had time to prepare. I promise, and I swear by it. And my last little tip that I'm gonna give you guys is, when you're preparing for an audition, make sure that what you are preparing is at your level, because, you know, it's not even worth it to prepare for something and work on something that is just above your skill level, because if you're doing that, then there's no point in preparing it, because it's not going to work. I'm all for challenging yourself, but when you're preparing for something like an audition, you have to be doing something and preparing something that you know that you can accomplish, that you know that you can complete to the best of your ability. For example, when I chose my solo for my music camp this year, I chose a solo that I knew I'd be able to complete in like about a month that I had to prepare it. And I chose it based around what I knew I would also have to be doing on top of preparing that solo. And I think I made a great decision. I feel very prepared, and my audition is in like 4 days. And, you know, music camp is not like the biggest deal in the world, but I do want to, you know, do well and get placed well. So, you know, that's one of the biggest tips I can give, is make sure what you're doing is to your ability, and you're not trying to be like, you know, the big man, you know, I'm gonna choose something that's way above my skill level to make myself seem more impressive. But really, if you pick something that's a higher skill level but you don't do well, if I were judging, I would pick whoever sounded the best or whoever performed the best over someone that picked something challenging but they didn't do it well. That's just my opinion, and that is what I can pass on to you. Pick something that you can do, and pick something that you will be able to prepare to the best of your ability. Pick something that you will be able to be confident in while you're playing it, while you're doing it, while you are acting it, whatever you may be auditioning for, whatever you're trying out for. Make sure that what you're doing is within your abilities, because it will allow them to really see you and how you are and how good you are, rather than just trying to make yourself seem more impressive by picking something that's really hard for you and then not doing as well. So yeah, that is all of the tips that I have for you guys on how to prepare for an audition. If anybody has any questions about how I prepare for auditions or anything specific, please feel free to tweet me. My Twitter is in the description. If you want to DM me on Instagram, my Instagram is also in the description. You can leave a comment. And yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye everyone!